Learn English through story. The gift of silence. Once upon a time in a bustling city, there lived a man named engliah, a brilliant lawyer known for his eloquence and sharp mind. He had risen to prominence by winning many cases, often with arguments so compelling that they left the opposition speechless. His ability to outtalk anyone became his greatest strength, earning him both admiration and envy. engliah's life was filled with debates, discussions, and disputes. His work consumed him, leaving little time for anything else. Though successful, he was often tired, anxious, and restless. His mind was a constant whirl of thoughts, strategies, and words. He began to notice that the more he spoke, the more disconnected he felt from himself, his loved ones, and the world around him. One day, while on a rare vacation in the countryside, engliah found himself in a small, tranquil village at the foot of a mountain. The air was clean, and the pace of life was slow, a stark contrast to the city he was used to. As he wandered through the village, he came across a small, ancient temple. Drawn by a sense of peace emanating from it, he decided to enter. Inside the temple, an old monk sat in deep meditation. His face was serene, and his presence exuded calm. engliah, feeling oddly compelled, approached the monk and asked, "What is it that you seek in this silence?" The monk opened his eyes slowly and smiled. "I seek nothing, for I have found everything in silence," he replied. Intrigued, engliah asked, "How can silence give you anything? Isn't it just the absence of sound, of words?" The monk looked at engliah thoughtfully and said, "You are a man of many words, but words are merely a vessel. What they carry can be truth or illusion, peace or conflict. When you speak, you give, but when you are silent, you receive." engliah was puzzled by the monk's words. "But I've built my life on words. They are my tools, my power. How can silence, the absence of my strength, offer me anything?" The monk smiled again. "Let me share a story with you." engliah, intrigued by the monk's calm demeanor, nodded and sat down. Many years ago, in a distant land, the monk began, there lived a king who was known for his wisdom and fairness. He ruled his kingdom justly and was loved by his people. One day, two women came to his court, both claiming to be the mother of the same child. The king, known for his wisdom, was asked to decide the true mother. The king, after hearing their pleas, called for a sword and said, Since both of you claim the child, I will cut the child in two, and each of you shall have half." One woman, her face twisted with anger, agreed, saying that if she couldn't have the child, neither should the other. But the other woman, stricken with grief, begged the king to give the child to the first woman, saying she would rather lose her son than see him harmed. The king, seeing the love in her eyes, declared her the true mother and returned the child to her. The other woman, who had been willing to see the child die, left the court in shame. The king had seen the truth not in their words, but in their silence. The monk paused, letting his words sink in. "You see, engliah, silence is not just the absence of sound, it is a space where truth reveals itself. When you silence your mind, you can hear what your words often drown out of your true self, your deepest fears, your unspoken desires, and the quiet voice of wisdom." engliah sat quietly, absorbing the monk's words. For the first time in a long while, he felt no urge to respond, to argue, or to prove a point. He realized that in his life, he had been so focused on winning arguments, on being right, that he had forgotten to listen to others and to himself. The monk continued, "In silence, there is clarity. When we stop talking, we start listening. When we stop arguing, we start understanding. And when we stop shouting, we start seeing the world as it is, not as we wish it to be." Aditya looked at the monk, understanding dawning on him. "But how can I, a man who lives by words, embrace silence? Won't I lose everything I've worked for?" The monk shook his head gently. "Silence does not mean the absence of speech. It means speaking only when necessary, and listening more than you speak. It means being present in the moment, not lost in thoughts of the past or future. It means finding peace within, so that your words, when you do speak, carry the weight of truth and understanding." Aditya spent the next few days in the village, practicing silence. He walked through the fields, sat by the riverside, and listened to the sounds of nature. The more he embraced the quiet, the more he felt his mind clear, his heart lighten, and his soul calm. When he returned to the city, Aditya was a changed man. He still argued his cases with passion, but now he listened more intently, spoke more thoughtfully, and found that his words carried more power because they came from a place of inner peace. He discovered that the true gift of silence was not the absence of sound, but the presence of understanding, compassion, and wisdom. And so, Aditya learned that sometimes, the greatest strength lies not in speaking, but in knowing when to remain silent. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoyed, then please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.